I asked them just to stand and deliver, and boy did they ever. I'm John Renton with my review of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1. And if this is any indication for how Night 2 is going to go, this is going to be a pretty damn good two-night takeover. They might need to do this for WrestleMania more often because boy, did they stand and fucking deliver. That main event was really good, and a couple other matches were. Let's get started. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So, pre-show was Sam Roberts and Jimmy Smith. I kept calling Jimmy Smiths because I'm just weird like that. And I like that Samoa Joe was doing the interviews for various participants. Can we get Samoa Joe doing these backstage interviews more often? He interviews Ciampa. Ciampa talks about, how his priorities have changed, but he will bring back the 2018 Ciampa. Neck injuries and all that stuff, all these injuries, he will overcome that. He's in the best shape of his life, and he will beat Walter. And then we get a Walter interview, and he talks about the quarantine, wanting to get those 6 months back, just, really, really well spoken. And I've seen Walter live only once, and that was at a Progress Defy Northwest wrestling show. And let me tell you right now, TV doesn't do justice for just how massive and how loud those chops are. I mean, my God, and Walter, intimidating son of a bitch, but damn impressive to watch. And he talks about how Ciampa's priorities have changed, and that will be his downfall, though he does respect Ciampa. And then we have an LA Knight promo. Let me talk to you. He says he will win the gauntlet match. About that. And then Vic Joseph and Mickie James do commentary for the pre-show. It's Toni Storm versus Zoe Stark. This is good, and I'm glad that they got to basically be, the lead in to how the TakeOver card would go. Both these women can work. I'm really impressed with Toni Storm. Zoe Stark, though, is very good as well. I've seen Toni Storm live once. Got to meet her. Really, really sweet, really genuine person. I'm so happy for her success. Toni targets the knee, and she gets overconfident, and that ends up being her downfall. Big superplex by Zoe, and then we get a German suplex into a nip-up and then a kick for two. Really, really good action here. I mean, this would have belonged in, say, the middle of, NXT lead into the second hour, but I'm really glad these women got to be on the pre-show and just, jazz the crowd up. Pretty big crowd there, actually, for the fact that the Capitol Wrestling Center is not very big. And, yeah, I'm sure there was pumped-in crowd noise, but still, the people that were there were pretty damn loud. And then Storm Zero gets countered into an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, of course, we have to have the dreaded roll-up, some variation of a roll-up, get the victory, but that's okay. Zoe Stark gained the victory, bit shocked, would have rather had Toni Storm win, but that's okay. Is what it is. And then MSK promo, Lee is cleared. He no longer has a hand injury, which gets tested a little bit later. And then Joe interviews Raquel Gonzalez. She wants to make a statement, how she feels honored that Io Shirai chose her, but that's going to end up being her downfall. She will prove that she belongs. And then, Joe interviews Io Shirai. It's a good thing that Joe was able to read the subtitles they provided for Io Shirai. I'm not knocking Io. Japanese is obviously her first language, but it's just kind of funny where I'm like, is he supposed to read this stuff back and then, interview her, or are they telling him in an earpiece what she said? I mean, who knows? Maybe he speaks a little bit of Japanese. I'm not sure. But anyway, boy, we have a ramp to the ring, which is actually kind of cool, old school, like WCW stuff, except Jim Herd wasn't involved. And that's a good thing, because Jim Herd should have never been involved in wrestling to begin with. Nina Strauss, she does the anthem, and my God, she is beautiful and talented, and she really jazzed this thing up, and we get the swoopy lightning effects. It's the Capitol Thor Wrestling Center. Really had to struggle for that one. And we get a new theme for Pete Dunne. Don't know how to feel about that. Kushida gets a pop. And they open with Kushida versus Pete Dunne in a, technically sound match. Very good stuff. This is how TakeOver should have opened proper. We get a ramp run and kick. Dunne viciously fingering Kushida. Man, that was just absolutely vile. This was on, on USA Network as well as Peacock. So you got vicious fingering on the WWE cock. I'm going to continue to say stuff like that because it's just too funny. Because I'm immature like that. He does grind him down. He focuses on the arm. We get some really, really good, exchanges. Hoverboard lock off the top. That was really good. Kushida is so smooth. Why don't they feature him better? I was worried when he signed, like a while ago. I was worried they wouldn't know what to do with him. And unfortunately, that's been proven right. He will have good matches to great matches. He had a great match with Johnny Gargano after at TakeOver Vengeance Day. And then for a bit wasn't featured. I don't know if he was injured or what. But it's like, seriously, he'll be there and then he won't be featured. And Kushida all over Pete Dunne, phrasing from the commentary, and then bitter end, 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne gained the victory. I really hope this leads to better things for Kushida, though, because, and I love Pete Dunne. I'm not upset that Pete Dunne won. Kushida does deserve a good push, and hopefully he will get it. So we get the Gauntlet Eliminator match, which is 6 men, and Leon Ruff, his music hits, and he's crawling out there because Swerve has obviously beat them down. They have a bit of a brawl, and then they start. And then every 3 minutes, a new participant comes in, and elimination occurs by pinfall submission, but I imagine even knockouts, stuff like that. I mean, no over the top, otherwise that would have been really weird. That was the Battle Royal. I gotta be honest, guys, even though there was some talent here, there were some good spots. This is kind of the match where it wasn't a bathroom break, but this is also a match where I'm like, it was high level work, but I also didn't care, if that makes any sense, even though there were some cool spots. This felt kind of like almost a thrown together match because it's the winner faces Johnny Gargano on night 2. And I don't know, I'm not necessarily a fan of that stuff where it's like you go, from one match to another match on like the second night, but it is what it is. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. They're doing it for WrestleMania with the women, the 4 teams of women, all human centipede together, facing off against each other to, see who faces Nia and Shayna. But still, I don't know. This was good, but this was kind of like the low point of the show, if that makes any sense. Swerve and Ruff attack, each other on the outside. Ruff does come back with a nice hurricanrana off the top, and then Reed's in number 3. And catches Ruff and just tosses him back in. Ruff and Reed, I mean, that actually would be a good tag team. I would not mind seeing them as a tag team down the road because I think it would be a pretty good, comedic element, but also it would be a size difference. But I think Ruff and Reed actually could be, hell, take my money on the goddamn shirt. I mean, it also would be something they would try to market. So, double German suplex by Reed. That was impressive. Grimes comes in number 4. I'm not really a big fan of the new Cameron Grimes, but it is what it is. He pays off Swerve to help him. That comes back to bite him in the ass later. Loomis comes in at number 5. And then Swerve just, tosses Grimes out and, pins Ruff during Loomis's entrance 1, 2, 3. So, Ruff is out. Loomis DDTs Reed on the ramp and then scares Grimes. And then he gets 2 rope assisted like backdrops. It's like he's going to backdrop him and then he just tosses him. Loomis is very good. He also takes a nasty spill at one point that I was very worried by. That clothesline where he crashed over the top, I'm glad he's okay, but it's like he just looked really brutal. And then LA Knight comes out last. Let me talk to you. And he actually does talk to us and cuts a promo and kicks Reed in the head, and that comes back to bite him in the ass when he gets thrown into the ring. He sells a Samoan drop like he got all of his ribs absolutely destroyed and pushed into every organ that he has ever had, and every organ anybody else has ever had. He felt the pain of 1,000 people, and because he's that goddamn good, it was believable. And Knight does take over. After that, he gets a huge superplex onto Swerve. Very, very impressive. And then the silence, is on Grimes, but oh no, LA Knight jackknives him, if you will. 1, 2, 3. And then Loomis just stays at ringside because he's got another spot after Reed hits a huge rain senton. 1, 2, 3 on LA Knight, and then silence on LA Knight. Well, he can't talk to us anymore if he's silenced. And then Swerve did very well. Everybody was down. Tights got held in. Grimes gets eliminated by Swerve. Oh no, the price went up, as Wade Barrett said. Stu Bennett. I mean, I keep calling him Wade Barrett because it's kind of just out of habit. But anyway, DVD on the apron to Reed. I don't know why they insist on doing apron spots. Any company, I think it's overdone. And $4.50 for 2. House call. He hits a bunch of kicks. House call. Oh no. And he only gets 2. And then Tsunami. And he gets the victory. Bronson Reed is going to face Johnny Gargano tomorrow on night 2. It was good stuff, but I don't know. This for me just kind of felt like it went a bit long. But it was what it was. It was a car crash match that I kind of enjoyed, and I was kind of like, it wasn't anything necessarily that I needed to go out of my way to make a ton of notes on. But I wanted to at least say there were some good spots, but to me this was kind of the bathroom break. You agree? Let me know. By the way, get your vaccine today unless you've been denying that the virus and the pandemic, actually exist, and then you can fuck off for all I care. My one shot, except for, Tommaso Blue Lives Matter Ciampa getting the shit beat out of him by Walter. NXT UK title match. Can the old Ciampa return and beat Walter for the UK Championship? Well, no, but this might have been the best match of the night. This might have been my favorite match of the night. And right next to the main event. This was really goddamn good. And the fact that they did some good psychology with the chops, and Ciampa going right at him, but then, trying to chop Ciampa, that's really hard to say, and hitting the announcer's table, he splits the cover and everything, and they sell it like, it's death. Oh no, he can't use his hand. He can't use his hand. Oh, it's like Fritz von Erich with the claw. Or Baron von Raschke. And that is all the people need to know. It's like a face hugger's coming at you guys. But anyway, this was pretty good because then Walter had his one weapon taken away. Oh no, his hands hurt. And he sold that really good. Walter is very, very good at selling. I mean, while making it look like he's always in control, but like he can get the best out of his opponents. And Ciampa was right there for everything. I mean, Ciampa is a well-traveled veteran, despite, maybe being hit in the head a few too many times to not be that progressive. I kid, I don't. That's being idiotic. But he did have some good shit here. He got hit with a big boot. He did hit a bunch of clotheslines, and he no-sells a chop, gets an air raid crash, gets a fairy tale ending for 2, gets a huge air raid crash. That was impressive. That was just after a crossface that he got. And then Ciampa, Champa chameleon. Well, really tried to recover from that. And then he gets his neck cranked. We get a powerbomb times 2 for just 2. Clutchplex, and then a chop. 1, 2, 3. And Walter gains the victory. And that was really good. Really good psychology. Really good stuff. Walter looked vulnerable, but always was in control, and Ciampa did not look weak. It was really, really good stuff. It was obvious that Ciampa was not going to win, but Walter did the best, making it look like Ciampa had a chance. And that was good stuff. Walter then stands with Imperium on stage, and then we get, the Pomeranian in the elevator, or a bit of a palm, and it's Frankie Monet. Taya Valkyrie is going to be on Tuesdays. Good for her. She's done about everything she can in Impact. Sweet woman, by the way. Met her at an indie show. One of the nicest people I've met at indie shows. Super nice. Got to wrestle in the main event and did really good shit. Anyway, Reed then gets interrupted by Gargano. Oh, you better have your tank full because I can go all night long. I'm fresh. I think they're alluding to Reed beating Gargano. I hope, because I want the North American Championship to be on somebody where it hasn't, felt stagnant. It's not that Gargano can't work. Just the North American Championship needs to be on somebody fresh for at least 6 months to actually, feel like important again. Now it just kind of feels like a placeholder title. MSK versus Grizzled Young Veterans, that I call Grizzled Hung Veterans because I'm mature like that, versus Legoland Phantasm. Okay, Legado del Fantasma. I'll call him that here because you know what? Wild Mendoza did some really good shit. 3-way match for the vacant tag titles. Proud Boy ref. So, such a shame that he was there. Seriously, the guy's fucking toxic and poisonous and everything. And you can have toxic... You can have different views. He's fucking toxic and needs to go from mainstream society because he's been hit in the head 1 too many times. Or 50 too many times because he's a CZW guy. But anyway, quick start and has rarely slowed down. This went like 60 miles an hour from the very beginning. And even though there were a few dips where maybe they went down to like 40, they kept their foot on the gas. This is well paced. Great double teaming. Plenty of dives. Double coast to coast by Legoland Phantasm. I'm going to, occasionally go back and forth. But Legado del Phantasm did some good shit here. Will Escobar get the victory tomorrow? I hope so, because his boys didn't get the victory here. Lee just dives everywhere, and then Lee gets his hand focused on, oh no, the Shankly Gates by Gibson, and that's a really impressive, finisher. And Carter stops him from tapping out. Oh no, he's not going to quite tap out, and then Phantasm breaks it up, and then we get the high-low, we get a Doomsday Device on Wild, and then, a stomp from MSK outside, to Mendoza. They're taken out, and it's down to Grizzled Young Veterans and MSK. Eventually, flipping blockbuster, 1, 2, 3, MSK get the victory, and Carter is all happy because his father who passed away, who wanted him to achieve his dream, got to see him from high above, or, just got to see him, just watch from the best seat in the house, and got to basically enjoy watching his son succeed. And really, really good stuff. Very emotional. They deserved it. Very fantastic match. Very, very good stuff. Then Stephanie and the new Japanese sensation, whose name escapes me right now. I apologize, but yeah, Stephanie's there. Do you think Stephanie had any idea who she was? And I mean this one. Do you think she had any idea who any of the people there were? Oh, wait, right. She should have known who the Japanese sensation would be because she invented women's wrestling. I don't like Stephanie. Can you tell? Check out the second part of my, top 50 favorite women, or the top 50 greatest women's list. Check out my thoughts on that. You'll know what I thought of Stephanie. But anyway, Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai. NXT Women's Championship. Great shit from the women main eventing the show. What a deal. Raquel Gonzalez with great power, and Io with some great speed and agility, and chopping the bigger Raquel Gonzalez down. This is good stuff. This is well paced. Referee kicks out Dakota Kai after she kept trying to interfere, which for some reason didn't lead to a DQ. I don't know why. Raquel grinds down Io. Can she deep throat the champion? That was one line that I had to slowly pervert dethrone, I know, but it's funny because I'm immature. And was that a botched 3 count after 3 elbows? It seemed like it was. Now, maybe that's just because of the camera cuts, but it seemed like, whoa, ref, you kind of botched that. Is what it is, though. Io, very quick and skilled, got a crossface on, did some good stuff, kept trying to chop Raquel down and almost got her. Hit a moonsault on the ramp. She dove off the frickin' skull because apparently it's back to the Deadly Game tournament. And if you get that, I'm sorry because it was a bit of a messy tournament, but it did lead to The Rock becoming the corporate champion, so bonus? And I mean, neither of these women are Mick Foley, which is probably a good thing because neither of these women need to wear a Mick Foley mask. So, that dive off the skull is pretty damn impressive, and I think Io destroyed her knees because that looked really painful. Moonsault in the ring for 2. Holy shit, nobody kicks out the Io Shirai moonsault unless she misses it, which she's kind of known to do, even though she is the genius of disguise. And Raquel kept yelling, stay down, what's it going to take? And then they battle outside, but then back in the ring, she hits a lariat, then the one-arm bomb, 1, 2, 3, new NXT champion, NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, well-deserved, great shit. I enjoyed this. This was very, very good stuff. Raquel Gonzalez deserves that, and Io had a hell of a reign. I hope that they at least have Raquel hold it until, I would give it to her for a year, but I think she's at least going to hold it until the takeover just before SummerSlam. Though I think that'd be a little bit short. I think you almost have to go to like at least War Games and maybe even like, the December NXT and build somebody up. I don't know who, but this is going to be pretty damn interesting. The reign of Raquel begins, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.